Let's get started with our first news. Ilia Topuria and Armen have officially gone back and forth, online and in the press, and things are getting heated. It all began last night when Armen took a jab at Ilia on X. He wrote, "Fun fact of the day, Ilia never fought anyone in their prime." Now that's not just a random tweet, that's a calculated shot. In the fight world, saying someone hasn't faced top tier competition is a big insult, especially when that person is holding championship gold. Naturally, Ilia Topuria didn't take that lightly. He fired back hard, and he did it on a public stage during a press conference in Spain. And let me tell you, he did not hold back. In fact, his response was as savage as it gets. Topuria looked directly into the cameras and said that Tsarukyan is the easiest fight of them all. Not one of the easiest, the easiest. He went on to say that Armen would be even easier than Paddy Pimblett, and that's saying something. He didn't sitke there. He added that he doesn't even know what to call Tsarukyan. Then he brought up what he clearly saw as a sign of weakness. Armen pulling out of a title opportunity because of back issues. Ilia couldn't wrap his head around that. He said, "Imagine having the chance to fight for a world title, and when the day comes, you pull out because your back hurts." His exact words, "I would have fought without an arm. I don't care." You know what he did? "My back hurts. I can't fight, man." Clearly, mentally, you aren't where you need to be. And that, folks, lit up the MMA internet. Those words spread fast. Fans love this kind of trash talk. It's raw, it's emotional, and most importantly, it sets the stage for an explosive rivalry. Both men are incredibly skilled, and they've both got the kind of ego that makes for perfect drama. That's what creates anticipation. That's what sells fights. Would you be interested in seeing them throw down inside the cage? Because that's the big question now. After this verbal back and forth, the buzz is real. This isn't just fighters talking. This is personal. The kind of grudge that turns hype into headlines and headlines into pay-per-view numbers. While some fans think this is all promotional hype, others believe there's genuine animosity here. Either way, it's working. The fight world is watching. And with both Ilia Topuria and Armen Tsarukyan positioned near the top of their divisions, this might not be just talk for long. It might be the start of one of the UFC's next big rivalries. Let's move on to the next story. Ilia Topuria has made one thing crystal clear. He is not interested in fighting Islam Makachev if Islam loses to Jack Della Maddalena. That's right, no matter how exciting the idea of that clash sounds, Ilia believes it only makes sense if Makachev is still standing at the top. Before winning the lightweight belt this past weekend, Topuria had already spoken publicly about his ambition to move up to welterweight. He wasn't just chasing a second belt, he was dreaming even bigger. He wanted a third title, and the fight he had in mind was against none other than Islam Makachev. It would have been a classic clash of champions, 155 versus 170, but for Ilia, there's one condition that must be met. Islam Makachev has to still be the best. In a recent interview, Ilia's manager, Lucas Orzel, broke it all down while speaking with Canal Sportivi. He explained their mindset in very simple terms. If Makachev loses to JDM, then the fight loses its weight, its value, and its meaning. Lucas said they had spoken directly with Ilia, and the question they asked was, on what basis would Islam even get that fight if he loses? For them, it's about legitimacy. It's about legacy. If Topuria is gonna move up for a super fight, it has to be against a champion, not someone who just got knocked down a peg. In Ilia's view, fighting Islam only makes sense if Islam remains the undisputed king at the top of the mountain. That's the standard he's set for himself, and fans can respect that. Fighting the best to prove you're the best. That's what true champions do. But not everyone is thrilled with Makachev's decision to move up to 170. Some fans see it as a way to avoid unfinished business at lightweight. They were hoping for big matchups at 155, and now they have to wait. However, it's not all criticism. In fact, one surprising supporter of Islam's move is none other than Armen Tsarukyan. While speaking with Brett Okamoto at ESPN, Armen expressed support and even some admiration for Makachev's ambition. He said, "Islam deserves to be a two-weight champion. I'm just happy for him. I hope he becomes a two-time champion. I'll become the 155-pound champ and then we can fight." That's not just mature, that's respect. But if Islam does win the welterweight belt, then buckle up, because Daniel Cormier believes a fight between Topuria and Makachev could become the next blockbuster, just like Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. On Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo's pound-for-pound show, Cormier reflected on the power of rivalries. He admitted he didn't have the greatest relationship with Conor because of Khabib, but he respected him. Why? Because without McGregor, Khabib might never have become a global icon. Cormier said, "Before the Conor fight, Khabib was already great. But afterward, he became a worldwide phenomenon." And now, Cormier believes the same formula could apply to Islam and Ilia. They may not like each other, but they might need each other to reach that next level of greatness. And that's the beauty of these mega fights. They create legends. So while we wait to see whether Makachev can claim that welterweight gold, the entire fight world is watching. The possibility of Topuria versus Makachev looms large. The stakes are high. The anticipation is real. And one thing's for sure, the outcome of Islam's next fight could change everything. Let's move on. Tom Aspenol has just revealed that he knows exactly who he'll be fighting next in the UFC. That's right, the interim heavyweight champion sat down for an exclusive interview with Adam Cottrell, published this past Thursday, and dropped some big news. According to Aspinall, the planning phase is over. The meetings have happened, the contract details are handled, and now it's all about preparation. While he didn't spill the full details, no opponent name, no official location, he gave fans enough to get excited. We've got a date, we've got an opponent to work towards, everything's good, and I can finally get my career going again, he said with confidence. And just like that, speculation went into overdrive. Tom's career has been a mix of spectacular highs and difficult setbacks. From his fast rise to the top of the division to the knee injury that temporarily derailed his momentum, Aspinall has had to show more than just physical strength. He's shown resilience. That's why fans are eager to see what comes next. And considering that Cyril Gane also teased his own fight news last week, many believe that a matchup between Aspinall and Gane is not just possible, it might be next. It feels like just a matter of time before the UFC makes it official. But Aspinall isn't just focused on his next fight, he has much bigger goals in mind. During the same interview, he revealed a 4-fight plan. Yes, 4 fights that he hopes to complete between now and the end of 2026. His goal? To defeat every single fighter ranked in the top 10 of the heavyweight division. When asked, "Are you talking 3, 4 in the next 12 months?" Aspinall responded, "I'd like to do 4 in the next 12 months. Then he paused and added, "I don't know how realistic that is. See, the heavyweights are a little bit different. There's not as many of us." He went on to explain the challenges unique to his division. Unlike the lighter weight classes, heavyweights aren't as active. The fights are more damaging, and injuries are more common due to the sheer size and power of the athletes. But even with those realities, his mindset remains focused. "I've already beaten 6 of the top 10. Now my goal is to beat all 10, he declared. If his next fight does end up being against Cyril Gane, Aspinall knows he can't stop there. The path to dominance includes dangerous names like Jelton Almeida, Waldo Cortez Acosta, and Derek Lewis. These are no easy fights. Each brings a different kind of threat, but Aspinall isn't backing down. His focus is crystal clear. Fight consistently, stay sharp, and clean out the top of the division. That's the mentality of a true champion. Not content with just holding a belt, Tom Aspinall wants to leave, no doubt. He wants to be the undisputed best in the world. Now let's talk about Dustin Poirier, who recently revealed some truly sad news regarding his health heading into the Islam Makachev fight, ahead of what could be the final chapter of his career. A much anticipated trilogy bout against Max Holloway, Poirier sat down with Megan Olivier for ESPN and made a surprising and emotional admission. He revealed that he went into UFC 302 with not 1, but 2 broken ribs. That revelation stunned fans and fellow fighters alike. According to Poirier, the injury happened just days before fight week. His longtime teammate, Mateusz Gamrot, accidentally broke his ribs during training. Despite the pain, despite the clear risk, and even though both his wife and ATT coach Mike Brown urged him to pull out of the fight, Dustin refused. He said, "My last fight, the Islam fight, I had 2 broken ribs going in. I knew it was going to be a wrestling grind. My wife wanted me to pull out. Mike Brown wanted me to pull out, but I couldn't." He then described how the injury occurred. "Gamrot broke my ribs right before fight week. It was an accident. We were drilling, and during an arm bar, my arm got pulled in a weird way. I tried to roll out using the hitchhiker escape, and my ribs just popped." You could hear the frustration in his voice, the kind of disappointment that only comes when your body betrays you at the worst possible time. He called it a crazy accident. And for a fighter who's always been about grit and pushing through adversity, this was brutal timing. With just over 2 weeks to go before his final fight, Poirier also opened up about his mindset heading into his farewell bout against Holloway. He said, "I'm going to try my best to be in the moment on fight weekend. It's the last time I'll ever feel those morning jitters, fight day nerves, walking into the arena. I'll never feel this again. So I want to put on a show. I want to go out with a bang. I want it to be fight of the night, fight of the year. I'm expecting stitches." Even though Dustin has been clear that this is his last dance, fans are still holding out hope that he reconsiders, especially now that there's buzz about a possible fight with Ilia Poirier. But whether he returns or not, his honesty reminds everyone just how tough these fighters really are. They go through hell behind the scenes and still show up, ready to go to war in front of the world. On a separate note, Tom Aspenol recently made headlines, but this time not for anything happening inside the octagon. Instead, he sparked conversation with a powerful and personal statement during an interview with Adam Cottrell, where he addressed a matter very close to his heart, protecting his children's privacy. During the interview, Aspinall didn't mince words. He issued a firm warning to the MMA community and the general public about respecting boundaries when it comes to his family, specifically taking unauthorized pictures of his children. "If I'm with my children and you take a picture without my consent, there might be hands flying," he said bluntly. "I've been close to that a few times." It was a raw and honest moment that caught a lot of people's attention. While many fans see fighters as superhuman or celebrities who are always on, Tom reminded everyone that there's a real person behind the fame, one who values his role as a father above all else. He made it crystal clear that while he absolutely appreciates the support he receives from fans, there's a line that simply should never be crossed. "Don't take pictures of my kids without asking," he said. "That's a horrendous thing to do. I hate that. Come over and ask me for a picture. Even if I'm with the kids, I'll probably say yes. And if I don't, it's for a good reason, so just putting that out there." His words struck a chord with many fans and fellow fighters. In a world where privacy is often invaded in the name of content or clout, Aspinall's message served as a timely reminder. Being a public figure doesn't mean surrendering your rights or your family's safety. This kind of honesty and openness is something fans have come to admire about Tom Aspinall. He's known for being down to earth, focused, and respectful, not just inside the cage, but outside it too. By drawing a firm line, he's showing that fame doesn't erase his responsibility as a father, and that anyone crossing that line might just get a reaction they weren't expecting. In today's digital age, where camera phones are always out and social media never sleeps, celebrities and athletes often struggle to maintain personal boundaries. But Aspinall's approach is refreshing. He's not asking for isolation, he's simply asking for respect. The respect to treat him like a human being, and the respect to let his children grow up away from the spotlight unless he chooses to bring them into it. Fans respected his honesty, and many took to social media to support his stance. Because at the end of the day, fighters aren't just warriors in the cage, they're also husbands, fathers, brothers, and sons. And sometimes the bravest thing they do is speak up for the people they love most. And finally, we've got some breaking news coming in from the UFC world. Another fighter has officially pulled out of UFC 318, and the card continues to take serious hits. It's been a rough stretch for this event, with fight cancellations and injuries shaking things up just weeks before fight night. Earlier this week, we reported that the highly anticipated matchup between Ikram Aliskerov and Bruno Silva was scrapped after Ikram sustained a toe injury. Fortunately, the UFC acted quickly and was able to find a replacement, salvaging that fight and keeping fans excited. But now there's been yet another setback. Today, it was revealed that Gunnar Nelson is out of his scheduled UFC 318 bout against Neil Magny. The news was first reported by Octagon Update and then reposted by one of the sport's most trusted insiders, Marcel Dorf. When Dorf posts it, you know it's legit. As of right now, there is no replacement lined up for Magny, which leaves fans and matchmakers scrambling. With the card just 2 weeks away, time is ticking, and the UFC will need to move fast if they want to keep Magny on the event. Whether that's calling in a last-minute replacement or reshuffling the card, the pressure is on. It's always tough when injuries happen this close to fight night. These athletes put their bodies through intense training camps, and unfortunately, sometimes the damage adds up before they ever make it to the cage. Fans understand the risks, but it's still disappointing, especially when it's a name like Gunnar Nelson, who brings a unique style and strong following every time he steps into the octagon. And despite all that, there's still hope. The UFC has a long track record of pulling off last-minute magic. We've seen fighters step in on days' notice and deliver unforgettable performances. The promotion is known for its ability to adapt, reshuffle, and keep the show going no matter what. So while this news is a blow, there's reason to stay optimistic. And if you're craving even more Fight World drama, don't forget, we also dropped a full breakdown yesterday on the entire Jon Jones situation, including the leaked phone calls that have everyone talking. It's all on our other channel, so if you want to dive deep into the chaos surrounding Jones, definitely check that out after this. The fight game is always moving. One minute you've got a full lineup, the next injuries change everything. Fighters pull out, others step up, call-outs are made, surprises unfold. It's the unpredictability that makes this sport so addicting. So even though UFC 318 is dealing with some turbulence, fans remain locked in because in this sport, anything can happen, and usually does. Stay tuned.